For most of human history, the sky was a boundary,
It was where stories lived, where gods were imagined.
and where limits were accepted.
No matter how powerful a nation became, everything that mattered still happened on the ground.
By the late 1950s, the world was tense, divided,
And watching itself closely.
the Cold War was not being fought with armies alone, but with ideas, technology, and fear.
When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in 1957,
It did more than place an object in orbit. It proved that space could be reached and that power could exist above the Earth.
that realization shook governments everywhere. If something could circle the planet unseen,
Then borders no longer ended at the horizon.
what was once unreachable had become strategic. In the United States, pressure mounted quietly but urgently. Political leaders feared falling behind.
Military planners worried about vulnerability. Scientists were asked to move faster than ever before.
On January 31st, 1958, that pressure turned into action. From Cape Canaveral, the United States launched Explorer 1.
Its first successful satellite.
It was small, simple by today's standards, and carried no weapons, but its meaning was enormous.
Explorer 1 did not just orbit the Earth. It changed how nations understood distance, surveillance, and security.
For the first time, humanity had placed a permanent presence above the planet.
As it circled silently overhead, Explorer 1 gathered data no one had ever seen before.
It revealed the Van Allen radiation belts.
Invisible forces protecting Earth from cosmic radiation.
Space was no longer empty.
It was structured, measurable, and useful. The immediate reaction was pride, relief, and validation. The United States had entered space.
But beneath that celebration was something deeper. Satellites made it possible to watch the planet without touching it.
They allowed communication across oceans in seconds. They introduced the idea that war, weather, navigation,
And intelligence could all be managed from above.
this single launch helped create entire systems.
Space agencies, global surveillance networks,
Weather forecasting.
navigation satellites, missile detection systems. The sky became crowded.
Orbit turned into infrastructure.
What began as competition soon became dependency. Modern life slowly wrapped itself around technologies.
Born from that first step into orbit. Phones, maps, shipping routes, disaster warnings all trace part of their logic back to that moment. But the launch of Explorer 1 also carried a quiet warning. When competition drives innovation, progress accelerates but control becomes fragile.
The same systems that connect the world can also monitor it.
The same tools that protect can also threaten. Today, Earth is surrounded by thousands of satellites. We live beneath a web of machines we rarely see but constantly rely on. The sky is no longer distant. It is active, crowded, and contested.
January 31st, 1958.
Reminds us that human ambition does not stop at natural boundaries. Once a limit is crossed, it cannot be uncrossed. And once power moves into a new space, it reshapes everything beneath it.
Why do we learn history every day? Because competition pushes humanity beyond its limits.
And understanding how progress begins helps the
Present generation recognize when,
innovation is building freedom.
and when it is quietly building dependence for the future.
History is not old. History is living inside us.
One day, one event.
One message.
Mr. Feedy,